So how would you get a narcissist to avoid you? What would make a narcissist want to avoid you? It is actually quite simple to get the narcissist to avoid you like the Black Plague. You simply need to understand the narcissist. So you see, in every single attack, in every single debasement, devaluation, and attempted smear campaign that the narcissist launches against you, they reveal their greatest weaknesses to you, whether you know it or not. If they call you stupid, they have a deep and inner fear of being thought of as stupid and probably think that you are rather smart. And they also have, many of them have deep rooted fears in being thought of as sexually inept and sexually inadequate. And all of that said, you can kind of flip things around that narcissists say and insinuate to you and make a list of those things and then flip it around, and the opposite of those things is true. So if they call you stupid, more than likely they think that you are smart and have a very deep-rooted fear of being thought of as stupid. So inevitably, when the narcissist comes around and attempts to hoover you, and they definitely will, use all of that information that they have placed so malignantly and foolishly into your hands and hit them hard with it, full force, repeatedly, as many times as it takes to piss them off and cause them to retreat. And they will. An amount of time will pass with their burning insecurities and bleeding psychological wounds before it builds to where they just can't take anymore and they'll bring on the next Hoover. They need to know that you don't actually think these things about them and that they matter to you somehow, in some way. And prepare for possibly the fakest of all apologies of all time. But turn around, like I said, and hit them with the same information as many times as it takes before they will retreat and to lick their wounds once more. This could happen 2 to 3 times, but eventually the narcissist will associate contact with you as an immense pain, and they will stop trying. So that's a good way to get them off of your ass when it comes to hoovering. Revealing their real pole position in life, and while grasping at whatever straws he or she can grasp at to try to feel better about themselves, and understanding that they are still behind you in some way. The narcissist cannot stand that. They are always watching you. They are always creeping around, lurking, creeping around the hedges of your life, trying to find ways to interject themselves, not necessarily physically, but definitely psychologically, mentally, and they will always be a coward at heart, and they always have been. So, like many empaths, you might feel kind of bad about it later until logic takes over and you are reminded of the deliberate pain that this person put you through, and that guilt will easily and quietly fade away. And so does the narcissist into the black abyss of all of the things that are dead and gone in your life. You must understand that you are stronger than the narcissist. Treat the narcissist the way that they treated you in some sense, and you will find they do not fare nearly as well through the psychological beating as you did. Perhaps it's the fear of being found out. Perhaps they are bored with the person that they are avoiding, or they now feel bad about themselves in your presence. They could likely have somebody else in their life that is taking precedence, or they could be avoiding contact so that you will wonder why they are avoiding you. And my own experience with my narcissistic ex has left a lot of questions unanswered as to what motivated him to do the things that he did. I spent the first year after going is gray rock, I guess no contact, low no contact, trying to understand their point of view. But I found it difficult because empathy always got in the way. And as an empathetic person, I would become concerned if I hurt someone through my actions. And it is hard, very, very hard, if not impossible, to remove that from the equation. And when looking to understand the narcissist's motivations, the narcissist did not decide to be non-empathetic. They just never developed the characteristic. Though some kinds of early trauma, as I understand it, it can make for understanding more difficult, and as far as empathy levels are concerned when it comes to narcissistically personality disordered people. And I think the question when it comes to this that you need to ask yourself is, why do you, if you want the person to contact you, why do you want the narcissist to contact you? And I was conditioned by silent treatments. In my own personal testament, I was conditioned by the silent treatments to know that once the silent treatments ended, I would feel immediate relief from the sadness and the anxiety of being given one of the worst, it is literally the cruelest, one of the worst things that you could do to a human being. It is a cruel game, and you are on the receiving end, and there is nothing that you can do about it. And ending that narcissistic cycle, it is not easy. And it took me close to 2 years, actually close to three years and a bunch of therapy to halfway move on with my life. It has been the loneliest period of my life, and I would not wish it upon anyone. And that said, I can say that I am quite happy now, even though I am not in a relationship. And I can't say for sure why a narcissist or why anybody in general is avoiding you. But I wonder if that is what we are truly asking when we posit this question. I think that we are wondering, in the back of our minds, will they come back? And to answer that question, I can say with the certainty of my own experience, I hope that you get to the point where you don't want them to come back, because it's hard to see in the midst of all of it. But your life is always better off without the narcissist and without the drama cycle that you are likely experiencing. So most of the time, if you are old supply, you must remember that narcissists live in the moment, and they are unburdened by conscience, and for the most part, they may not be actively trying to avoid an old supply. It's just that you cease to exist because of that lack of object constancy, as they are usually idealizing a new target, and they are consumed with the new relationship and with themselves. And they may avoid an old supply because the supply has become aware of what the narcissist is, and they know way too much, or the old supply simply just doesn't have whatever the narcissist wants in terms of supply for the moment. As we all know, narcissists are lazy whenever it comes to putting effort into gaining supply, in most cases. And if coming back to an old supply means a lot of efforts in terms of explaining their poor behavior and offering false apologies, then they will not bother with that unless they are desperate. They don't realize or believe that they've done anything wrong, or that they owe you an apology at all. So if this old supply is you, I hope you realize that this individual is not capable of honest, respectful, and meaningful attachment to anyone, and not capable of love in the way that that most of the world sees it. They lie nearly every time that they speak to you, and every time that they speak to the new supply. And you deserve better. You deserve an honest and respectful partner, a meaningful relationship with somebody. Try to focus on you and your future, because being discarded truly is a gift, in that you are free of the toxicity and you have a chance to rebuild your life any way that you choose to do so. Don't worry about how some selfish, abusive, and dishonest person is doing, because they are not doing better with somebody else, even though it may look that way. They are not happy. They never will be happy. They will always hate themselves. And the new supply is never any better and never any happier. And they are just new and different for the time being, and unaware that they are involved with a person who is simply just smoke and mirrors.